Hi, everybody. Welcome back to the LovePod. We have a lot to get to this week. So, first up, we have an interview with Josh Simmons. He was in season 5 of Love is Blind. Now, you may not remember him because his story wasn't shown, but he actually did get engaged to fellow cast member Paige, and he tells us all about that story, how their pod connection went, and why he thinks they didn't get filmed and didn't get shown in the series. In addition, we broke down the couples from Love is Blind season 6 and who we think is going to make it and who's going to crash and burn before they hit the altar. A few notes before we get into the episode. First, our predictions were based on the first 2 episodes of Love is Blind, as that's when we recorded this interview. So please bear with us when we already know the outcome of the couples. Also, we had a couple of connection issues, so while you can hear the conversation, there are some audio delays. Thanks for bearing with us, and of course, drop a comment congratulating Josh and his girlfriend Sam on their baby boy due in May. Thanks for listening, and here's the interview with Josh. Good morning, everybody. This is the Love Pod. I'm Dina, and I am being joined today by Josh Simmons from season 5, the Houston edition of Love is Blind. Welcome to the show, Josh.
Well, thanks for having me. It's going to be fun. Talk about some chaos and some drama and all the good stuff. And I'm sure nobody recognized me, but I was there for some of it.
So, yeah, for those who don't know, give us like a quick summary of what happened with your story with Love is Blind.
So with my story, my first date, day 1 of the pods, was with Paige, and we hit from date one, and we ended up going through it, getting engaged, and just not being followed. But yeah, we were
which is always the stories. Was she your first date? Your very first date?
Yeah, we were each other's very first date the first day.
Wow. Yeah. Nice. So right away.
Yeah.
Now,
so I guess it was too dramaless for our season.
We just talked about that a little bit, how like the couples that have the least drama and are probably like the most set up to be the most successful, they're not shown as much. And with season 1, for example, Rory and Danielle and a couple of other couples getting engaged that we didn't see, those are the stories we all want to hear about, because we've seen the ones that did get married. We've seen how Lydia and Milton played out, and we see them now on social. We don't know your story. So we're here to find out about it today.
Yeah, I'm the secret story not shown, you know?
And that's what we want. That's the real tea. And we know you've got some other stories about some other cast members that we don't know, that we were just talking about. Maybe what happened in Mexico. May stay in Mexico, may not.
Yeah, I mean, wasn't there, so who knows?
Now, you connected with Paige right away. Did you have any other connections from your dates?
Yeah, I mean, I had a good amount of connections. I mean, my number 2 was Taylor, and we dated for a good portion of it. And then me and Paige kind of got a little further than her and JP. They were really hitting it off, so we decided to split up and go that route. And we all saw how that played out. And then also Johnny and Stacy were my 3 and 4. And yeah, so I mean, but other than who I ended up with, everybody else, we all know all about them, got to see all about them. And
now JP and Taylor were a very interesting story once they got to the honeymoons. Did you get a different JP in the living area than you saw on TV?
Oh, without a doubt. I mean, JP was just like all the other guys. I mean, seemed like a good, kind-hearted guy, which he definitely is. So what you see on TV is not who I would say he is by any means in real life. So, I mean, to see that, I mean, it was definitely different, but people also got to keep in mind that, I mean, that was more than 2 weeks in, and you don't get a lot of sleep throughout this process, and you're stressed all day long and trying to make a life decision. So, I mean, you're kind of worn down and not really yourself. And obviously there is alcohol around you that you can drink and get certain ways. So yeah, I wouldn't say that's definitely not who he is and what you see it. And I guess you can kind of see where he's coming from if you want to try to put yourself in his shoes, and he just kind of said things the wrong way and went about it the wrong way.
It happens. We haven't spoken to him yet. we would totally be open to it. But what we have done is a lot of the people who got very bad edits on prior seasons of the show, on House of Villains, or on their seasons prior to House of Villains, everybody who has this villain edit has been very kind and very sweet and understanding of our bumbling through the podcast world. So it's always interesting to hear that there are other sides and that editing does play a large role. So I would be interested in seeing more of these villains, like the Matthew of this season,
Oh yeah.
which we'll
That'd be
talk
an
about a
interesting
little.
podcast based on what we've seen so far.
Yeah, I always say it's a love pod. We try to lead with love, but sometimes you see these storylines and you just feel like some bullets were dodged.
Yeah. Well, I think he'd be an interesting one on a podcast because he'd be in the seat where he has to answer all the questions. And
Yes.
from what we've seen, that
He
might
d-
be a little bit different, but I don't know the guy. So, I mean, I'm sure it was just a situational thing where he wasn't comfortable all the time, but I don't know.
Did you feel awkward having to be on camera all the time?
Oh, not at all. 100% going into it,
Okay.
stressed out, worried because, I mean, never been on camera, never had a mic on me. So, I mean,
Right.
definitely worried going into it from day one. You walk in, I mean, you forget. I mean, after the
Really?
first few minutes, you completely forget. The only time in the lounge, obviously in the lounge, I mean, there's big cameras rolling. Every now and again, you look over
Right.
like, oh, wow, I forgot on camera. Other than that, like in a pod, you'd never even realize the cameras are in there. You're staring at
Is
that
there
blue wavy
somebody
wall.
in Is there
What?
somebody in the pods with you, like a producer or a camera person, or is it all just mounted in
It's all
places?
mounted, built into the wall. So I mean,
Okay,
you never notice it unless if you're just trying
that's
to
good.
look for it. Yeah. So that part's
Okay.
smooth as can be. I mean, I would say reveal day was the most intense it was to be in front of cameras because I mean, there's a good I don't know between 15 and 30 cameras lined up for the reveal.
Do
So I mean,
you
those you see everything. So Paige kept telling me, she's like, "Stop looking at the camera, stop looking at the cameras." I'm like, "There's so many of them." I'm like, "They're right in front of us." I'm like, "I'm not trained for this."
Yeah, that must be very disarming. You almost need a boot camp ahead of time to prepare for what it's gonna be like.
Yeah, and I mean, behind every camera, there's producers, there's cameramen. So that was the only moment where I really felt like I guess intimidated by cameras. Other than that, it's just I felt like you kind of drift away and you're just so busy thinking about your dates and who you're dating and all your friends and how their dates are going that you really don't even think about it. It just becomes another day at home, essentially.
Do you feel like were you guided where maybe either one of the guys would tell you, "Hey, so and so is into you," or maybe a producer would be like, "Do you wanna chat with this person more?" Or was it completely up to you?
It was completely up to me and all of us. I mean, there was no influence on anything. I mean, no producer ever talks about if you want to talk to somebody more asking like is with people in an interview, but nothing like that. Same with us back the first day, which I thought was awesome to not talk about any women's name that we're dating because we're all dating the same people. We're all becoming
Right.
close and we don't want to step on each other's shoes. And I mean, you saw at least in our season, I mean, in other seasons that sometimes people will talk about, oh, well, I'm having a good connection with so and so. And then other people hear that the friends at work and they're like, oh, well, I'm going to stop talking to that person because that's my friend and they like them. And that did
Right.
happen. So we made
It
sure as
did?
guys, it happened. I've heard rumors on the girl side, maybe, but
Okay.
as the guys,
Okay.
let's say we didn't talk about names and we did really good at that to kind of stay off each other's toes. I mean, the whole time people kept giving me and Izzy crap, be dating the same people because I've dated the same
Yeah.
people and before that. So obviously, me and him the whole
Wait,
time we're
before
just
you dated the same people before Love Is Blind?
yeah. So Izzy's ex fiance from before the show, I dated her in a serious relationship after he dated her. So we knew
Oh,
who each other were when we showed up. We never actually
okay.
talked in real life. Yeah,
Oh,
so that was
man.
something that was surprising the first day showing up, and all I hear is "What's up, Josh?" I was like, "Oh shit!" I was like, "What's up, Izzy?" And then I mean, we hit it off, and we're as close as can be still to this day.
That's funny. We've heard, especially because you guys film in these big cities like Atlanta, Houston, obviously, that there were a couple of other people who knew each other ahead of time. We saw Lydia and Uche. Elsie knew Wesley from season 1, but I never thought about the guys or the girls might know each other ahead of time. Was there anybody else that you knew going in?
Oh, that was it. I mean, thankfully, of course, out of all people, I was like, of course, I'm going to be the one that knows somebody here, and now that's going to be the whole thing. And that was the only thing I guess felt like it was producers tried to influence, is they always brought up in interviews about us, me, him, and our past, trying to like dig at that, I guess, to create a feud, more drama. And me and him every time we're like, no, I love the dude. We've got to know each other. I mean, we're similar people, same
Yeah, you're
same interests,
cool.
and I guess it makes sense we dated the same person.
Yeah, and we didn't really get to see that either. I'm surprised, even if they didn't show your story, that we didn't see any drama with you and Izzy. But like you said, there was
Yeah.
no drama to be had. So
No,
that's
yeah.
good. See, that we didn't know that either.
Yeah.
Another unaired love story.
Right. I like to think myself as more an anti-drama person. So I try to stay out of all of that. And I mean, I'm a friendly person to everybody. So I guess that's one reason I wasn't aired, but I'm thankful I wasn't. I mean, I'm glad to be on the outskirts of all this. I don't need all that in my life. I'm happy with where I'm at.
Yeah. Do you feel like if they had aired your story, besides the fact that you have a very different relationship, potentially, that would have changed anything about your life?
Oh, without a doubt. If they would have followed Paige and I, we 100% we would have gotten married at the altar. And then, like I'll tell anybody, I mean, by now we would have gotten divorced. I mean, it turned out we just weren't the right people for each other. We just had different views on how we wanted to live our life. So, I mean, it wasn't any hard feelings on either side. But in that 2 weeks after the pods, or 3 weeks after the pods to the altar, we 100% would have said yes, and would have been a slippery slope and rough going down it. Ended up in getting divorced, never want to be there. So,
Right. Of course not. Of course not. And do you have any regrets about what did or didn't, well, I guess what didn't air really? Do you wish that they would have shown anything more?
I mean, the only thing I'd say I wish they were shown more is just more in the pods and more the good side of all these people, that they show a lot of drama and a lot of bad things with people and how they react when there's so much good and joy. And I mean, just the guys in the lounge itself. I mean, all the heart to hearts we had. I mean, you'd have guys crying, like talking about feelings and whatnot. And that's not a thing guys really are known to talk about, is feelings. And
Right.
that's why it's so cool to bond and see how people were, and those guys actually being emotional, which was strange but awesome in the same sense.
What is your favorite unaired moment?
My favorite unaired moment, man, that's something I never really thought about. Favorite unaired moment.
Whether it's a blooper or a conversation that you had bonding with one of the guys, or maybe something funny that happened in a pod.
Honestly, I would say I wouldn't really have one moment, but there's a lot of moments between the guys and me, and like me and Carter especially. I mean, you could see that little clip of me and him talking about, would you like to be rather eaten by a shark or an alligator? And that's pretty much the stupid things we'd talk about all day. I mean, it's just guys being dudes, and that's the way guys are. I mean, people always think guys might always be thinking sexual things or all these different things, but no, we just random thoughts pop in our heads, and we're like, all right, what do you think? It's just kind of stupid stuff. I mean, I guess one thing I wish they would have shown me and Izzy and the guys, we'd shotgun beers every day at a certain point.
Gee, I wonder why they didn't show that, Josh.
Right? I mean, it was our little tradition
I can't imagine
that we
why.
started in there.
Now, we've heard a little bit about your connection with Paige and read about it, but tell us about the moment that you found out. When and how did you find out that they wouldn't be showing you, or that you wouldn't be continuing on in the process?
Oh, okay. Yeah, that was a bit of a curveball thrown towards me. So after a reveal, we all got locked up, taken back to the hotel, got put up in our rooms, and really can't come out. And then later that night, so we spent all day in there. And then later that night, get a knock on the door, getting told, all right, come with us, get in the elevator. It's me, Enoch, and Jared. And we go down, and they're like, don't talk to each other. And then we go down there as a bunch of producers, and essentially they tell us, okay, like unfortunately we're not going to follow y'all's story. Like we only have a limited amount we can follow, and yada yada yada, which is fine with me. I mean, I didn't need to be aired. I mean, I was there to find love. So I mean, it wasn't about me being shown on TV. And then that conversation ended, and the producers proceeded to call me outside because they needed to talk to me, which I found very odd. My first thought is, okay, I think
just you.
Just me by myself with the producers. So we go the whole time. Paige must not have liked, because that's already going through your head because you just had the reveal, first time seeing each other.
Right.
So I'm thinking they're going to tell me, think that you know who Paige is and knew who she was going into this because you follow her on Instagram. And then they tell me that they'd already told her this. So at that moment, I got very upset and angry because at that point, everything about me and my character got thrown in question, and everything that we built in the podcast was thrown out the window because they've already told her this without even consulting with me. And it was very upsetting. I got very, very angry, and we had a whole conversation about it. And eventually they finally came to her because I told them, hook me up to a lie detector if you have to. Like, you can go to my Instagram, you can check my messages. I'm a guy, as bad as it sounds, I've followed a lot of people that pop up on people you may know, or that I used to see on dating. I'm like, okay, like, let me maybe like add on Instagram. Maybe that's a way to connect. And so I don't know everybody. And I mean, she had, I don't know, 25,000 followers at the time. So she definitely didn't know who I was.
Right.
And then
but you didn't realize that you were following her.
Had no idea. And I swear to God on that.
Okay.
And they finally, at the end of it, believed me. They're like, okay, we believe you. And they're like, well, sorry, this worked out this way. Would you like to talk to her on the phone? I'm like, well, yes, can I? Which I don't have my phone at this time. So they pull out one of their phones, and they call a producer over there. And so they put us on speakerphone in front of all the producers for me to have a conversation. So, which was awkward in itself to be having a conversation where she's bawling her eyes out. Second one on the phone. I lied to her. How could I do that? So then obviously I get upset and I start crying. I'm trying to like save face and tell her like that's not true. I swear on my life I will do anything in the world to make this right and to prove to you that that's not the case at all. And I would never do that. Mm-hmm. I mean, I just think it was terrible. And so I mean, it kind of ended there, and she ended saying like she believed me, and I had to wait all the way until the next morning at the airport to see if she even shows up at the airport and if it is all right. So, I mean, I didn't sleep that entire night. I'm just literally pacing my hotel room, bags packed, like not knowing what to do. I mean, I begged the producers, like, can I just go over there? Can we just leave now? I'll pay for a hotel out of pocket. I just need to fix this, which y'all ruined. And I mean, that's what I told them. I mean, I just thought that was the worst thing they could have done instead of coming to me first as a man and figuring that out, which it's not, I wouldn't say it's my fault that I follow her. I mean, I'd follow her for a while, and I think I'd liked one or two of her pictures ever. It's not somebody like I'm spamming likes and I'm DMing, like none of that. So I just wish they could have done more digging. I mean, because technically that is their job leading up to it, is they do go through all of our social media.
Right. How did they wait until that point to
so the rumor I heard was that on reveal day, I mean, everybody's watching, all producers, everybody from the lowest to the highest. And apparently what I heard through her that she heard, so I guess rumor, is that once we revealed that there was a producer that said, I can't believe y'all let them beat it. And then another one replied, like, what do you mean? Like, well, he follows her on Instagram. And that's where it all kind of fell apart, because going up to that, we were kind of set up to proceed with the show and be followed. And then it just kind of plummeted from there, which worked out. I thank God the way it worked out the way it did. It was just at the time was very upsetting and rough to go through.
Of course,
because I'm a person that I pride myself on who I am as a how I was raised, and that kind of put it all in a question, which I did not deserve to be in that situation. I felt like.
Yeah, that's something they really should look into ahead of time, especially if they're going to make that accusation and have potentially showed your story and changed the course of both of your lives. So that sucks.
Yeah, I mean, I told them after, I mean, it's a mistake that they made going through our social media, I guess, by not catching that before. And I just told them that they could have done it a right way, and they chose the wrong way to do it.
Yeah.
But people make mistakes.
And that's
And honestly,
another
like I said,
drama thing that could have, well, they don't want you guys to know each other, so I guess not been aired, but
yeah.
that
Well,
sucks.
yeah, and afterwards, I mean, talking to the cast, I mean, everybody asked, "Oh, like that's crazy! Like, were y'all being filmed? Like, is that gonna be showed up?" It hit me. I was like, honestly, I couldn't tell you if there's any cameras around. I was just focused on that, which there wasn't. I'm assuming, but it was nuts to say the least. It made for a
Oh
very,
my
very,
goodness.
very long day.
So what was it like dating after that? Did you guys have to kind of rebuild from there?
Surprisingly, we didn't. So second, she showed up at the airport because the girl showed up probably 15, 20 minutes after we did. So we're waiting on them. I mean, we clicked and picked it up where we left off right then and there. So we didn't have any hiccup really from that other than that night and that phone call. And it was honestly, real world was pretty smooth for us for a while. Just continue to grow and all that. And so we found out we just had too many differences on what we want in life, and
Sure.
nothing bad. I mean, we ended everything was completely fine. We were great. Like I told her when we broke up, I mean, I'd rather end it there because we did go through all that, but I'd rather end it there than try to keep going and to the point where one of us or both of us are going to resent each other. And that's not something I'd ever
Right.
want. I mean, I want the best for her like she wants the best for me, and we both understood it wasn't each other.
Yeah. And I think that also speaks to the lack of drama that maybe they like and want to see, is like you ended on good terms, even when you knew it
Yeah.
wasn't right for each other. But did you not have those conversations in the pods about what you wanted out of life and how you envisioned the future going?
Some of them, yes, we definitely did have in the pods, and then some of them were just ones that I didn't get to or didn't become a topic.
Okay. Fair
Yeah.
enough. Did you keep a journal from, we see the journals with everybody's names on them. Do you
Yes.
have
Yeah.
that?
Yeah. The good old
Do you
journal. I
have it
don't have
with
it
you?
on me. I don't have it with me. I
Okay.
I forgot work was busy today, and I completely forgot to
It's
grab it. That's
okay.
my fault. Yeah.
That's all right. Instead, I'll ask you if you can share something you haven't shared in any other media or interview. Like, tell us a secret.
Oh, I mean, I
Something
have a
from the
big one.
pod, something from your life.
Okay, so I mean, it's not really a secret to follow on Instagram. I mean, I do have a child on the way, and I'm in a happy
Yeah.
relationship, so that's beyond exciting. Show wise, I mean,
Congratulations.
thank you so much. I mean, life couldn't be better. Baby's due in May. Gonna have a little son, so couldn't be
You
happier
must
with
be
it.
so excited.
Oh, beyond excited. I mean, the more baby stuff comes in, the real hits, and I mean, we're under 3 months to our due date now, so to me, it's flown by. I know for her, definitely hasn't flown by because what women have to go through
Oh,
is just
yeah.
it's
I'm
crazy. I mean,
sure.
kudos to every woman that goes through the pregnancy and child. There's a women do it because the guys can handle it. We struggle with colds
Now, are
enough as it
you
is. I mean, we're the strongest.
are you one of those guys who would do, like, the pregnancy simulator? Would you be down to, like, have that experience or, like, tape a watermelon around your body to see what it feels like? Or are you glad to have
Oh,
the outsider
100% I
view?
would. Oh, without a doubt. I would.
I
I
thought
mean,
so.
if she asked me to do it, I'll do it in a heartbeat. I mean, she
Oh,
has
I'm
to
gonna
actually live
DM
through it.
her.
So hey, give me what you got.
And, so I guess now is a good time to get into our Instagram deep dive, because the first picture we have, whenever Jordan is ready, I know I kinda threw her on the spot there, is
Hey,
congratulations.
woo,
Yeah, look
thank
at you
you.
2.
Look how
So
beautiful she
cute.
is.
Yeah, you guys are a gorgeous couple. She is beautiful. She has that
Yeah.
pregnancy glow about her everybody talks about.
No, she does. I
The
tell her all the time. She doesn't always believe me, but I see it every day.
I'm sure it's hard feeling pregnant and tired to feel at your most beautiful, but she really is beautiful, and I'm happy for you both. We're all happy for you both.
Thank you
Now,
so
do
much.
you
We could not be
you don't have
happier.
to share, but do you have a name picked out?
We do have name picked out. I mean, we haven't put it out there, so I don't
Yeah,
spoil
that's
it for
okay.
her. But it We love it. I mean, could not be a better
Good.
name in our eyes. And the middle name we named after both of our grandpas, who are big parts of our life. And
Oh,
my grandpa lived with me since I was 4 or 5 years old, and was like another father to me. And her grandpa's pretty much the same to her. So, and it worked out perfect that they had the
oh,
same first names. So we're like, boom, middle name, perfect. Couldn't be a better people to name it after.
oh, good. That's so exciting. We'll have to wait till May for the official announcement. And when
Yes,
is her due date?
May 12th on Mother's Day itself.
Oh gosh, that's
Yeah,
pretty. I know they don't always happen right on the due date, but that's pretty good. That would be an
I know. I'm
excellent
like,
Mother's Day present.
if we can get
And
lucky,
just in case, you better be ready with the flowers and the candy.
I know that's what, in my eyes, I think it'd be the coolest thing in the world. Become a mother on Mother's Day, and obviously, I can surprise with all the gifts and stuff for your very first Mother's
Yeah,
Day.
yeah. And then let's move on to throwing it back to your time on Love is Blind again.
Trauma,
Now, what what was going
trauma.
how did you get the news that you were gonna be on the show, and what was going through your head during this photo shoot?
Oh, so I mean, the news being on the show. I mean, they reached out, I guess, sometime around October 2021, and then I mean, it was from then until pretty much a few days before leaving, just paperwork, talking, and yet they could never say you're going to be on it officially until pretty much right before, which that was because you're always thinking, well, am
Oh,
I on
wow.
or not? Like, what do I need to do? And then finally, when they send you the list of all your clothes, I'm like, I'm assuming that means I'm on it, but they still won't tell me 100% because I guess during that time you still had to get COVID tested, I think 3 times before going on it.
Okay.
And then finally, once I got the plane ticket and all that, once they sent me that info, I'm like, okay, I'm on it. Like, it's official. All right,
So,
cool.
it wasn't even like an official call, it was like, "Here's your plane ticket."
Yeah, essentially, like they sent me flight details. I'm like, well, but I guess that means I'm gonna go.
I'm on
And
the show.
yeah, so I'm super excited to leading up to it, super stressed and anxiety at an all-time high. I mean, I had a breakdown like the day before leaving. Had to call my mom because I mean, at that moment, I'm thinking, can I do this? Should I do this? Is this right? And I was going through everything on that, and she calmed me down, told me like, whatever happens, happens. Just be yourself, and that kind of put me at ease. And
Yeah.
there we go.
That's a good
And now that
mama.
photo shoot, oh, she's the best mama. Now, the photo shoot was weird for me. I've never been a big picture taker. It's something I try to be better at, and I don't know if I've ever had pictures taken of me by myself. So I felt so awkward. I'm like, what do I do? Where do I put my hands? I felt like Ricky Bobby. Like, what do I do with my hands?
Is this before you guys got into the pods, or is this post filming?
Yeah, this is the first day we showed up in LA. We did this, so that was the
Okay.
very first thing, very first time being in front of cameras because we had this. Then we had like interview questions with Netflix, so it was a lot. I got to see the clapper board for the first time. I've never seen one of those in person. So
Okay.
of
It
course,
is a real thing.
in the preview for our season, it starts off with him doing that, and it's me saying, "Oh, cool!" when they clap it. I'm like, okay. I mean, that sums me up to a T.
You're not there for the Instagram likes and the Hollywood fame. You are
Oh, not at
genuinely
all. I mean, I was there. I mean, to find love. I could care less about any fame thing. I mean, I don't even need social media, honestly. Like, if I have a family that's happy, that's all I need.
That's beautiful. Well, we move on to the social media
Oh,
presence you
but
do
yeah.
have. Could you explain yourself, sir?
I completely forgot that's even on there. Man, that was a long time ago. That was me and one of my best friends, Andy, went disc golfing for
Uh-huh.
the first time. I threw one in a little pond right there, and we went out to find it, and we didn't want to get our shorts wet, so we're like, let's roll them up. And then it turned into two guys
Sure.
just thinking, let's you can like now it looks with the ass
The
cheeks
water
out,
doesn't
and
look that deep,
no,
Josh.
we didn't know because looking at it, you're like, okay, I can't see the bottom because it's
Mhm.
muddy water, and then we start walking,
We're
we're like, well, we already fully committed. Like, let's just keep going. Let's keep going. No backing down now.
Okay, fair enough. And then last and certainly not least, tell us about your pets.
Oh, my buddy, it's Oz, man. So that's Ozzy. He's a little over 3 years old now. He's the cutest little mini Aussie boy.
And how do you think he's
Funny
going to
enough, I was
take the
actually
baby
taking
on the
pictures taken
way?
at Paige's house. Was that?
I said, how do you think he's going to react to the baby on the way?
I pray he is amazing with the baby. I mean, he's been
Have you
around
had
kids
him
and
around
stuff.
kids yet?
Yeah, and he's really good. So I mean, obviously, I'm
Good.
not really that worried, but I think he's gonna treat it like his own little brother.
I will say I've had a lot of dogs, and I have right now, my youngest is crazy, so hyper, so excited all the time to be around people. And he has this intuition, I think most dogs do, of like, this is a tiny human. I have to be gentle. I have to be calm. And he turns it like he knows he has to tone it down, whether it's a dog that's nervous, whether it's a baby that, tiny or just shy around him. So they know, they're very perceptive.
Oh, without a doubt, and that's how he's been around kids. And my boxer I had before him, I actually got him because my boxer was getting older, thinking it would kind of bring some youth back to her life because that was my
Sure.
angel, and it did. And he was the cutest playing with her. I mean, they'd get on her, she'd be laying on her dog bed because her back legs stopped working, a lot of hip problems, boxer issues,
Oh,
and he
yeah.
would just kind of play with her laying there, and it was the cutest thing, and he was the softest to her, and I loved it.
Aw, we're actually gonna do a podcast coming once this season of Love is Blind is over called the Pupcast, and we'll have you back on to talk about the important pets in your life if you're willing to join us.
I
We
would
just
love
love we're
to.
gonna have everybody talking about their dogs and cats and whatever other animals have changed their lives. So that's
That
coming
sounds
probably in
amazing.
April.
So I'm a big animal
Now,
person, especially a big dog person. So I'm all about
yes,
that.
animal people are the best.
Yes.
All right. Now, moving on, we're gonna do some never have I ever. Are you ready?
I
And
don't
we're not
know, but
gonna drink
let's see
because
where we
it's
go.
still pretty early. You can
We
if
can
you
do
want,
water.
no judgment.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Just
drink
drink
some
some
water.
water.
You can
Yeah.
just tell us. Yeah. You can tell us you just say, never have I ever. So the first one is never have I ever ghosted someone.
I have. Yeah.
Yeah. What happened?
I mean, you go through things in life, and sometimes either you don't have a connection or just kind of at that mental or you're struggling and just kind of drift away.
Sure.
And I mean, I'm already
Okay.
bad at responding. I mean, I don't know, 450 unread texts. I just don't like texting people back sometimes. And then I'll do it later. I'll do it later. And then I just completely, next thing I know, weeks go by. I'm like, yep, too late now. I mean,
That would drive me
it's not something
crazy.
I'm proud of.
That's okay. None of us are perfect. Everybody, if that's
Yeah.
one of your flaws, like you're doing okay.
Yeah. It's something I've worked on. I've gotten a lot better at it.
Have you, or I guess never have I ever been ghosted?
Oh, 1000% I've been ghosted. I've been ghosted way more than I've ghosted. I mean,
Okay.
I'm a guy, I feel like it's just, that happens. And no hard feelings. I mean, it sucks at the time, and then later on, it's like, well, I mean, okay, I get it. You don't want to hurt my feelings, and
Right.
which it does hurt your feelings more getting ghosted, but it happens. Life goes on.
Yeah. It's like ripping the Band-Aid off versus pulling it off a little bit at a time. You have that closure.
Exactly.
You don't.
Yeah.
Never have I ever had a one night stand.
Yeah, I've had one night
Okay.
stands. Yeah.
We're not going to send this to your mom. Don't
Hey,
worry.
we've all been young. I mean,
Yeah, we have.
sometimes,
Absolutely. No shame. No shame
yeah,
there.
no
Maybe more
shame. Hey,
shame on this question. Never have I ever gotten drunk in the pods.
yep, definitely did that. I mean, you're there for so long, it's hard not to sometimes. It wasn't an everyday thing. I mean, obviously you drink here and there every day, but I mean, sometimes you just go a little too hard on like night dating's where it gets tough because throughout the day you're hanging out, having drinks here and there. The night dating kicks in. It's more relaxed, and it's like, you know what? Hey guys, let's take a shot. Okay, let's take another shot. And then some days it just kind of trickles down. It's like the day I asked Paige in the pods to be my girlfriend officially, and she said yes. After that date, we all kind of celebrate as guys because I come out all ecstatic, and Izzy kind of comes up to me, he's like, "Oh, what happened?" I was like, "I asked her to be my girlfriend." She said yes, and everyone's like, "Oh!" So then it turns into, "Oh, let's go take shots to celebrate." And then sometimes you just have 1, 2, 6 too many.
It's too
Yeah.
many. Was
Then the
there
next
a
day
lot
is,
of back and forth? like going into the pods, coming into the living quarters? Did you guys have a lot of downtime?
Oh yeah. I mean, your downtime kind of gets longer throughout it as the dates get longer, because you always have dates, and then as you dwindle down people, you have a lot of time. So then it turns into pretty much living in the quarters. So I mean, the first day you don't have much downtime, because 15 dates out of a 16 date slot, so you only get that one off date. So I mean, that's the gauntlet, as I'd like to call it. So surviving that, whew. But I loved every 15 date. I'll say that. I mean, I didn't have one bad date with anybody. I wouldn't knock any of them. Definitely didn't
Okay,
walk out.
so there was nobody that you immediately crossed off your list?
No, I mean, there were some that I would say, I mean, I knew early on in the conversation it wasn't somebody that was meant for me, but we had great conversations throughout the whole thing. It wasn't anything I felt like, okay, I can't wait to get out of this pod and be done with this. It's just, I enjoy talking to people and getting to learn about people, whether it's somebody I'm trying to date or somebody that's like, okay, I could be friends with this person. So it was something I really had a good time with.
Was there anybody who surprised you either when you saw them on TV versus what you got in the pods, or hanging out with them in real life that was very different?
That was very different. Oh,
Like maybe they were perceived a certain way, or they perceived themselves in the pods a certain way when you were dating. And then once you saw what they were like in the real world, it was completely different. Maybe they were really shy and then they were really outgoing in the real world.
I mean, I wouldn't say there's much of any of that. I mean, I guess JP biggest, because I mean, what you see based on who
Right.
he is, I would say is completely different. I mean, good dude, and I'd say, I mean, he was, I guess, a little quieter in some of the lounge moments, and in real life, I mean, he's a good, fun person to be around. Other than that, I mean, everybody was. I mean, I got to be there every day, so what y'all see and what I got to see were completely different. So I mean, I really got to know
Yeah.
everybody. I felt like, I mean, I guess the women's side would be more different, because I mean, I only had some dates with them, never got to see them until after, and then it's like, oh, okay, that's what you look like, because you, in your head, you paint pictures, and it's never close to what people actually look like, because you have no idea, hear no
Right.
voice. I'm like, the only one I'd say I had a pretty close to what I thought they looked like, Stacy. I knew by her voice. I was like, okay, it's like, okay, definitely sounds like a blonde woman that's in shape. It's just Pilates. Other than that,
Okay.
I had no clue about anybody else. I mean, it's a shock getting back that first day, and everybody adds you on Instagram, so you're like, oh, that's so and so. Okay.
Who are you
And the
most
whole
shocked
cast.
about? Like, who was the most different from what you thought would look like?
Oh, that's tough. I don't know if I really have like a most different.
If nobody stood out, that's okay too.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think anybody really stood out, because I mean, everybody to me just looked completely different than in my head. Because in my head, I don't even know if I had an actual person pictured for anybody. It's just more
Okay.
like I'm staring at a blue wall. So it's more like, okay,
Yeah.
wow, everybody looks like somebody I've never seen before.
Everybody's a real person.
Yeah, y'all are real. Okay. I thought I was talking to like an AI thing. Okay.
Okay, so our next Never Have I Ever came from Chris Fox, who was, I guess, nicknamed the Hebrew Hammer,
The
self-imposed in
Heber.
Never Have I Ever had a
I
pod
love Fox.
nickname.
Had a what?
Did you have a pod nickname?
I think I did.
What do you think it was?
I have no idea, honestly. I mean,
Oh, you don't
either I
think you did. Sorry.
yeah, I don't think I did. I
Okay.
mean, if I did, maybe something behind my back or a joke. I have no idea.
Oh, no.
I mean, it's been
All
like coming
right.
up
Were
on
there
2
any
years
other
now. So
nicknames running around?
I mean, I don't really have nicknames. I'd like to think just most people call me Josh or call me Simmons, and leave it at that.
Okay.
Pretty cool.
All right. Never have I ever slid into another cast member from reality TV's DMs,
Oh
friend
yeah,
or otherwise.
yeah, I've done that. God,
Okay.
I look terrible in all these. So
No, it's okay.
I will
Listen,
say
we always go ahead.
I've always watched like The Bachelor, Bachelorette, and from day one of Love Is Blind, I've watched every single season. So, I mean, I follow all that. So I see somebody in the past that I've liked and I'm like, oh, it didn't work out for them. Like, long shot, shoot my shot. And
Ooh,
obviously,
care to
I
share?
never got anything back. But
Oh, no.
yeah.
Who from The Bachelor would you slide into? Do you have
Oh, man. So back in the day, I guess it's been a couple years now. I know I try to slide into Katie Thurston's.
All right,
Yeah.
understandable.
Yeah.
She's
And
gorgeous. She's so funny.
oh, yeah. That's a her humor and personality. I'm like, okay. I mean, she brought what a first meeting of whoever season of The
Yeah.
Bachelor that season. I was like, what a bold power move. But
Yeah, and she's a stand-up comedian now.
I know I've seen that on the internet. I'm like, that's awesome. Like,
Yeah.
good for her.
Yeah, absolutely. And then finally, never have I ever borrowed anything from set. You take anything home as a memento?
So certainly I did not. So I never have. And
Okay.
kind of regret it. I wish I would have taken a gold goblet because I know people did. And then after the fact, I was like, because I'm not somebody that would think about doing that in the moment. I'm like, okay,
Right.
that's on the set. That stays on the set. And then afterwards, people tell me, oh yeah, we took some. I'm like, well, crap. I was like, I should have taken one like, just for the memories.
Yeah, absolutely. It's even if
Yeah,
it doesn't work out, you're marking a very unique moment in time.
exactly. I mean, it didn't work out, but that's how I like to see it. I mean, it's an opportunity that most people don't get, and I would say, I mean, that's a big part of my life on how it made me view dating. I mean, it really makes you view it a different way, not getting to see them and having to actually build that emotional connection. And I do think that's a big reason where I'm at now in my life, and me and Sam are where we're at in our life, and having this child together and growing together and building. I think that's a big portion of that, and that's why I was very thankful of my time on the show. And like I shook creator Chris, I shook his hand at the end of all that, just telling him how much I appreciate giving me the opportunity and going through that. I mean, it's something that really changed the way I've seen everything.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
And it obviously all worked out.
Oh, it could not have worked out any better. I mean, life is, I'd say, as close to perfect as it can get right in this moment.
And now season 6, as we were talking about, just came out 2 days ago. So how caught up are you?
I hate to say I'm not fully caught up. I like to binge right when it comes out. Valentine's Day is a busy day, and
Yeah,
then yesterday
it's only been
work
2 days. I
work
don't
right after.
blame you.
Yeah, it's 2 days too long, right? I mean, I've seen probably an episode and a half. I've seen a couple engagements, and it's
Are
about.
there any standouts to you that you think are going to get engaged that you haven't seen yet, or that you think will say yes at the altar?
So I'm really rooting for was it Kenneth and Brittany? Kenneth
Brittany?
and
Yeah,
yeah, Kenneth
us
and
too.
I remember. So I'm the world's worst when it comes to names. So I'm doing
Okay,
my best. Yeah, that's why I worked out good in the
you're
pods because I had my
good.
notebook I could pan around. And the other one was I'm not gonna remember the names.
Give me some facts about them. I'll see, or like some conversation they had.
Oh man, here I got it right here. I knew I'd forget. Amy and Johnny.
Okay,
I knew
yes,
I'd
I
forget.
think those. Oh, you're awesome.
Yeah, Amy and John are amazing. I really hope they stay together. I don't know if I've missed anything, and if they do stay together, I hope they get to the altar and say yes. But that's my two couples that I pick, and I could already be wrong because I haven't seen what's come out yet. But that's who I've
Yeah,
been
no,
rooting
I
for
think
early
those are
on.
the two front runners for most people as well, like of who's going to
Yeah,
say yes. Have you gotten to speak to any of the season 6 cast yet?
I have not actually. I
Okay.
mean,
I don't know if you guys had like a super secret group chat for Love is Blind alum.
there might be some somewhere, but I mean, none I'm involved with. I mean, if some of the
Okay.
people on season 6 that aren't involved, if they want to reach out and we can have our little behind the scenes of people not aired
Yeah.
for it,
The
we'll call
trauma
it the
bonding
Outcast.
experience.
Yeah. The group that got fired. That's the joke I like. I
Oh
like.
no.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
made that joke a lot after we were told not to go to Mexico. I was like, I got fired today. I'm like, first time. This is rough.
Rough life getting fired from Netflix. And now we won't see you
Yeah.
on Perfect Match. So
Yeah. So not going to be there. So I'm
maybe you'll
curious to
have
see
your
who's
own
going to be
spinoff,
on.
Raising
Hey,
Baby.
right? Oh, I'm all about that.
All right. Well, that's all we have today, Josh. Thank you so much for coming on. Where can everybody find you on social?
I'd say mainly Instagram. So it's J Simmons 1818. The best number in the world. So
I
yeah,
also am a fan of
Insta is the
18.
best spot.
All right.
Oh yeah,
And
Peyton
is there
Manning,
anything you want to
childhood.
promote? Anything going on?
I
Any
mean,
projects
the
in the
only thing we're
works?
promoting is just baby. I mean, just focusing
Promote
on
the
becoming a
baby.
dad and yeah, trying to become the best father I can be and best boyfriend, future husband.
Well, it sounds like you're doing a great job.
Well,
Thanks
thank
so
you
much
so much.
again, Josh.
Thank you. I appreciate it. And thanks for having me on. I had a great time.
Me too. We found out a lot we didn't know.
Oh, yeah. So there was a lot more spicy stuff I didn't get into, but didn't
Oh,
want to stay
wait
out
a
of the
sec.
drama
Hold
part.
on now.
Yeah.
Hey, wait a second now. What aren't you spilling?
I mean, not really spill anything.
All
There's
right.
just scenes that spilled out, and some of it was shown on. It was talked about in some situations that drama was hardcore on the show, and part of that was about things that I was involved with, but that's about it. Yeah.
But your lips are sealed. Not even going to tell us who it involved?
I mean, it involved another cast member and talking to me about what
Yeah.
they thought while my at the time fiance was there, and I don't know. I didn't think it went over very well. I don't think it was a good thing to say and whatnot.
I'm going to guess it was Uche. That's my guess.
Oh no, definitely not Uche. I love Uche. Yeah, it was.
Okay. Unpopular
Yeah,
opinion, but okay.
yeah, it was a female cast member that wanted to speak
Oh,
to me the
all
first time
right.
all the cast met up. Yeah, she wanted to call me off the side and have a
Okay.
conversation about our relationship, which was fine. Just ended a little bizarre, I guess you could say, and it created some rifts and drama and kind of spilled out onto episodes of our season. And you didn't get to see that, so you only saw what made some people look bad in that moment. But
Okay. All
yeah,
right. Well, thank you again. And thanks for sharing a little bit of behind the scenes. We'll be left to speculate on our own who that might be about.
yeah, y'all can draw up
And
whatever conclusions and
oh, trust me, we will.
hey, the internet likes to do that. So I'll leave that little ball out there for y'all to play with.
On that note, thank you everybody for listening and watching, and tune in next week where we continue our Love is Blind recaps for season 6. We'll see you next time. Thank you again to Josh Simmons for joining us from Love is Blind season 5. We hope you enjoyed the episode. Coming up within the next several weeks, we have our live reunion watch party, which will be Wednesday at 6 p.m. Pacific time. Hopefully Netflix will be working for everybody. Coming up in the next few weeks on the show, we have interviews with Love is Blind cast members Season 3, Julian Torres, Season 5's Taylor Rue, and several Season 6 cast members once the reunion's over. Subscribe on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, iHeartRadio, or wherever else you get your podcasts, and be sure to follow us on social at LovePod Podcast. Thanks for tuning in, and we'll see you next time.